Where do I see them?
You'll see them up here.
Okay.
So we're live, and then you'll see like all the people pop up there. Awesome. Rhubarb, do you want to work? Do you want to work? Ready? Get it. You drop. You get on your climb. Good job. Very nice. Very nice. All right, let's do this one. Break. You go find it. Roo, get close. Yes, go boy. All right, we all ready over there, Tim? Perfect, sounds great. We'll go ahead and get started. Alrighty, welcome everybody from Facebook. Give me a thumbs up or a heart or a wow reaction if you can hear me. Pretty sure that we got all of our audio stuff figured out before we started this live, but feel free to pop a thumbs up, a heart, or a wow emoji. No angry emojis, I don't want to see those. I don't want to see any of those. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can use the climb to help prepare your dog for the AKC Canine Good Citizen test. So I wanted to go over with you guys really quick what some of those items are that are on the test. And Rue will demonstrate some of them for us that we can do in this environment. So single-handedly, some of the exercises require multiple people for them. But let's go through them real quick. Test number 1 is accepting a friendly stranger. So Rue, get close. What that exercise is the dog must stay by your side while you shake hands with someone, and they don't really want to say hi to your dog at that point. So they're a friendly stranger, but maybe they don't want to touch dogs or talk to dogs, or they don't have any interest whatsoever in your dog. So your dog is supposed to remain by your side in a stay and not approach that stranger, even though they may be friendly. So I really like using the climb for that when I'm first working on teaching it, because it gives my dog that defined space to stay within. So if we're right here and my stranger comes up, if my dog stands, Roo, touch, and comes off of the climb, then that's very black and white for him that he made a mistake. It's going to be really easy for me to get him back into this position during our training session so that we can practice that again. Now this isn't a tool that you can use on the test, but you can certainly use it when you're practicing for the test, and that'll help your dog learn the muscle memory for that skill as well. All right, test number 2, sit politely for petting. So how many of your dogs get super excited to say hi to that friendly stranger, and maybe they start jumping up on them? Well, I really like to practice this impulse control game, and we'll just do a mini version of it real quick with Rue. I'm going to ask him for a sit, and then I'm going to show him something that he gets really excited about. And that was really good. He stayed up there, so I'll go ahead and reward him there. So this right here is something that he's excited about, simulating that stranger that might want to come up and pet him or get him really excited. So if my dog is able to stay on that spot, even with this really exciting distraction happening right in front of him, you can tell that that's really hard because he's flinching towards it, then he's going to do better when that super exciting stranger comes up to him and wants to pet him and love on him and all of that as well. Now remember, with this, it's the same thing. That defined area helps create a spot that helps keep him where we want him to be. It increases his impulse control because it's pretty black and white. If he's right, he's on the climb. If he's wrong, he's off of the climb. Break, get it. And then we'll reward him with the toy as well. Nice work, buddy, nice work. And we'll come back to working with toys with your dog as well at the end with a couple of other tips that I'd like to share with you guys. And if you guys have any questions while we're going through this, drop. If you have any questions on what we're working on in here, or maybe you have a question particular to one of the test items, feel free to pop it in there. My camera guru today is Tim, and he's helping me out. So feel free to pop those questions in there, and I will answer them as they come up. All right, test number 3, appearance and grooming. Rue, get up on your climb. Good boy. So for our test number 3 item, appearance and grooming, we need to be able to look in their ears, maybe check their teeth, also lift up a paw as if we were going to trim their nails, and we also need to be able to brush them. So there's a reason dog groomers use tables for their dogs as well, and it's not just, I know you really want that. It's not just because it elevates them up to the groomer's height, which makes it easier for them to do their job, but it also helps the dog stay in one spot as well. So utilizing your climb gives them that spot where they know that they have to stay during all of that, and it helps prevent them from being too excited and jumping up on that person. All right. Test number 4 is out for a walk. That's walking on a loose leash. So heel position is one of the foundation skills that we want before we ask our dog to do loose leash walking. So our dog needs to know how to get into that heel position. Our dog needs to know how to get into that heel position. So creating that defined space for them up on the climb can also help with that. He knows how to get really nice and close to me when he's got that target that he's going to. Now, of course, you're going to have to take it off of the climb as well and work on your loose leash walking around the room, taking multiple turns, changing your pace from a slow to a fast. You want to work on all of that separately as well. But Rue did pretty good with that one. Yes, you did. He's like, I would really like my toy. Alrighty, test number 5, or exercise number 5 is walking through a crowd. If we've worked on our dog's impulse control, they know how to walk past food on the floor or hold sit stays with lots of distractions around them, walking through a crowd of people that they might want to say hi to is going to be a piece of cake for them. Test number 6 is sitting down on command and staying in place. So, of course, we want to teach our dog how to do a sit and a down. Those are pretty easy. I don't think many people have challenges with that once they've gotten to the Canine Good Citizen test level. But stay can certainly be hard, especially building up to that 20-foot mark. So there's a couple of different ways that you can work on that. Starting with your dog on a climb that's built all the way up creates even more of a defined boundary for the dog. So while he's up there, I can move all the way around him, and it's really black and white for him. He's up there, he's earning cookies and using that impulse control, and then if he gets off of it, he's made a mistake and it's really black and white for me. I can make it easy for him to understand. Nope, get your butt back in that spot that I asked you to stay, and then we'll work on it from there. So, staying in place, when I moved to teaching my dog how to stay on a climb versus staying just on the ground, we were able to move along our stay progression so much more quickly because the dog understood the fundamental of the exercise before we started adding in the distance and the distractions, all of that stuff as well. Coming when called. This is a tough one for a lot of people. And so one exercise that I played often with my clients in group training classes was a ping-pong game. So if you have 2 owners, then you can call the dogs back and forth between the 2 people. Now, a lot of dogs will come close enough to steal a treat, and then they will run away from you. I like to call that the dining and dashing. We really want to make sure that we get our dogs to come all the way up close to us. Hopefully they'll offer us a nice sit. They should be close enough that we can grab them by the collar, put their leash on them, take them home from the dog park, all of that. They do really need to be nice and close to us, not 3 feet away, which is close enough to earn a cookie, but not close enough for us to be able to grab them by the collar. So if you're using your climb, your dog's going to be magnetized to it. So you saw right there, when I tossed a cookie off the roof, break, go get it. I didn't even have to tell him what to do, but if I line up right here, he's going to crunch on his treat because it was a very big treat. And then he's going to come right back to me, offer a sit right perfectly in front position. That's close enough to me that I can grab him by the collar and I can give him a cookie. And he's so magnetized to it, I don't even have to tell him to come. But if I do practice adding in that cue, that's going to help him understand what I'm looking for from him. You're so brilliant. He's like, I really want the toy. All right, we'll get to play with that in a minute. The last 3 we'll go over really quick. Reaction to another dog. With this, I think there's so many moving parts in it. You've got 2 humans moving and 2 dogs moving when you're doing reaction to another dog. So with that exercise, you start on opposite ends of the room. The 2 humans and 2 dogs walk towards each other. The dogs have to do a stop and sit. Rue, get over here. The dogs have to do a stop and sit in heel or loose leash walking position without saying hi to each other. And then you have to loose leash walk past. So what I found was really helpful with my students was giving them a target to go to. So you can set this up in a lot of different ways. If you just have cones, set up 2 cones that are a good distance apart from each other. The humans loose leash walk up to the cones, stop, shake hands, and then continue walking. But what you can also do is create a target for the dogs to go to as well. So So like I was saying in that come when called exercise, dogs become so magnetized to it, it's almost like that's all that they're looking for. So you can build in that muscle memory of just walking up to the dog and ignoring them and going straight to their climb, sitting there while you do that exercise. Now remember, this is all just inside of the training exercises. It's not something that you can use on the test, but as you build up that muscle memory, it becomes really easy to fade out that tool, which would be the climb, and your dog is going to know how to perform those behaviors with minimal fading of the tool. So you can practice a couple of repetitions with the climb on the ground, and do a couple of repetitions without the climb on the ground, and you shouldn't have any troubles transitioning between those two. Reaction to a distraction is our second to last. That's our test number 9. Reaction to distraction, what a lot of CGC evaluators will do is either drop a clipboard or jog past. There's a couple of different distractions that they use often. What we're looking for there is that our dog does not react towards that, or that they recover very quickly from it. So we don't want to see dogs that are lunging and pulling at the end of their leash ready to, nip at the heels of the jogger, or that they're startling so much from that, dropped clipboard or dropped food bowl. Teaching our dogs how to maintain almost a default behavior of sitting in heel position right next to us is a great way to help our dogs cope with those distractions. If they've been told what to do, sit and stay in heel position, they're less likely to lunge towards that jogger or get themselves into any trouble that way. And our final test item is supervised separation. So that's where we leave our dog with the testing instructor or evaluator. And the dog has to stay with the evaluator for 3 minutes. They have to remain under control. So no excessive barking, whining, jumping, lunging. We really don't want to see that the dog is stressed during all of that. We also want to see that the dog can keep their composure and not be too excited about hanging out with the evaluator, jumping all over them, that sort of thing. So for that, teaching your dog a really solid 3-minute sit stay is a great way to build up to that behavior. And you can do that by working with the climb, giving your dog a job to do for that full 3 minutes. Or you can do it just by helping your dog by desensitizing them to working with other people on a regular basis. So allowing your friends to do different tricks and training stuff with him so that they get used to being handled or hanging out with a stranger even when you're not there. So those are all great ways that you can incorporate the climb into your Canine Good Citizen classes or your Canine Good Citizen training skills when you're working on that with your dogs. The last thing that I wanted to give you guys is a quick little tip on how you can get your dog to perform behaviors without treats or toys on your person. So whenever you're doing the Canine Good Citizen test, you have to be able to do all of those skills without food on your body. So what I like to do with Rue is I'm going to put this distraction away. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of his cookies right here. I'm going to put them on the climb. So I'm going to ask you to touch over there. So those are not yours. He's got some pretty good impulse control around food. So I set the food over there. Come here, bud. And then what I'm going to do is ask him for a behavior. Sit. Yes. I'm going to mark him for doing the behavior. And then we're going to run over here and get the treat. So there's no cookies on my body. Got to come away from the cookies, but you're still going to earn it, I promise. And I can ask for maybe 2 behaviors. Down. Sit. Yes, good job. And then we'll come over here and get a cookie. All right. Now, I'm going to ask for 3 behaviors. And I'm kind of pushing him a little bit because I know he can do it. But you'll build up to this slowly. Rue, down, sit, pretty. Goodness. You have to do it without the barking. Houston. Good. Sit. Good. Pretty. Yes, good job. Very nice. Very nice. So that is just one fun way that you can work with your dogs on getting them to go to, or getting them to perform the behaviors that you're looking for without having food in your hand. So you're setting them off to the side on a chair or something like that, asking your dog for 1 or 2 behaviors, and then running over there and making a party about it, or a party out of it, and then of course rewarding them when they've done a job well done. All right, did we have any questions pop up?
Well, Shelley would like to know if Rue could be any cuter.
Could Rue be any cuter? I don't know. Could be here, Rue. Come here. Come here. Ready? Go behind me. Come here. Come here. Sit. You take a selfie? I'm pretty sure that's like his cutest little trick. Pretty sure it is. Pretty sure it is. Gotta take a selfie with Rue at the next trade show that we see you at, Shelley. All right, well, I think that is a great way to wrap it up. Rue, you are the cutest. I don't know how you could be any better of a doggo than you are, except for maybe the barking. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I will definitely go and check them out. If you found any of the information in this Facebook Live beneficial, please feel free to share it with your friends. Thanks for joining us.